Hello, everybody, and welcome to the final show of the month. This is CLX Foundry Live, and we are coming at you real strong with some codes, some fun, some joy, and a build for a friend of ours in Florida. However, let's start at the beginning. I'm your host, DJ Blue PDX, joining me live from our relatively warmer studios in Wichita, Kansas. It is today's lead technical expert, the soon-to-be not-so-baby-faced Paul Steffens, and the man with the hair, Zach Hillingsworth. There we go. My glove to love. There we go. Now, here's the thing that you all are wanting to know about, because I know there's so many of you excited about it. Like, oh my God, more codes. When we got while the contest doesn't necessarily end tonight at midnight, it is the last time on this show that you're going to be able to grab codes. So let's talk about that. Now, first of all, if you'd like to know more about this amazing giveaway from that beautiful PC that Zach has been such a great hand model for with his murderous serial killer gloves, we've we've got that. It's available for you. Exclamation give Flora in all the chats. If it doesn't show up, we can go ahead and post that there for you. Now, there's a lot of different instructions and things that you can do to get those things going. But here's the more important thing that I know everybody is going like, get on to the good stuff. It's the codes. Now, there's going to be codes all over the place. On Tuesdays for our giveaways, you can find codes on kick.com/clxgaming. On Thursdays, like today, you can find it over here on twitch.tv/clxgamingtv, which is awesome. You might be able to also find codes over in our social medias. That is YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at, say it with me, CLX Gaming. And then, of course, there is times when you might even find something over in our Discord at discord.gg/CLX Gaming. Yeah, there we go. The only other place you can really find them over here this month is going to be on my channel. I'll have my final code given out today, and it's going to be a pink code with 200. But first, we've got a few things to take care of, and I would like to talk about what you two have decided to build for our friend Erwin in Florida.
All right, so Erwin has configured a RAW off our website. He's custom configured this. So starting out, we've got an Intel Core i9 14900K for our processor. We are going to be using a CLX Quench 360 AIO to cool that. And for our motherboard, we've got an MSI Pro Z790-A Max Wi-Fi. For our memory, we've got 2 sticks of G.Skill 32GB DDR5 5600 speed Trident Z5 in black with the RGB heat spreader, so a total of 64 gigs of RAM. For our storage, we've got a single Samsung 4TB 990 Pro NVMe drive. And we've obviously got the O11 Dynamic XL in black. For our case fans, we've got 10 of our Game DS Aeolus M2s. Our video card, we've got an RTX 4090 from PNY. And for our power supply powering everything, we've got a Silverstone 1000 watt 80 plus platinum fully modular.
Nice. Nice. Addy, I agree. Now, by the way, we have something to tell you all in the event you might have some sort of an amazing question. And don't forget, there's no such thing as stupid questions. I haven't said this part in a while, but I'll just reassess it here. If you have questions about your build, the terms you heard while we're making our build, or other things that you've experienced with a build, all you've got to do is ask in the chat. We'll get those answered as quickly as possible. The one thing to remember is there's no such thing as a stupid question. Just because you're wanting to ask it doesn't mean there's other people who are afraid to ask it. Imagine at that boardroom when somebody said, hey, what if we made a movie about sharks and a tornado? And look how that did. Hello.
Oh, yeah.
So, there we go. Addy says that's a demon PC. You are not wrong. That is basically 4.5 seconds for being Skynet, and I'm excited to see what's about to happen with it. There we go. We got Backwoods, Certified Cracker, Architect over on the seal. Wow. Get it together, DJ. TikTok side. What's up, peeps? Brandon Service over on the Facebook side. We also got the Reds in the house. Nugito Mendoza Lopez. Bienvenido. Benvindo. I'm not sure whether you speak Spanish, Portuguese, or English, so I'm just going to say it in all the languages possible so that I can not be seen as a jerk. Bless you with a 1+ today, Nicole. Nicole, what are you doing? Just kidding. I'll tell you what Nicole's not doing. Nicole's not pulling all the plastic off of an amazing motherboard. We're just going to kick off our incredible build. This build is going to be, obviously, in another O11, just like I have behind me. It's an incredible machine. It's got multiple different drive bays in the back. We'll talk about that in just a second. The one thing I will say that we're going to jump over to is our I/O shield. Everybody's like, why is I/O shield so important? Well, because the I/O shield shows you what you can actually connect to your device. So let's take a look at this. This is actually pretty fun. Starting at the very top, you've got your display port, obviously, and your HDMI, which, you know, if you've got a KF version of your processor, it's not really going to work. Down below, you actually have a BIOS and flash button. That's nice because it means you don't have to open your case for it. Below there, we have got our USB 3.2 Gen 1s. Now, these are 5 gigasecond ports, okay? And then above there, we've got our USB 2s. And then beyond there, all the Reds are actually USB 3.2 Gen 2s. That's 10 gigs plus that USB-C. That is a Gen 2 by 2. So that means you got 20 gigs. That's 10 gigs up, 10 gigs down, plus a 2.5 gig LAN port. your SPDIF out, which is all your surround center, of course, those little gold nodules, those are our Wi-Fi 6 connectors. There we go. Welcome to the party. Alrighty. Now, as we're coming up on this thing, current build by us. Wait, hold on. Let's see here. Let me jump back over here. Sorry, guys. Now, understand I'm watching 5 chats at once. Think y'all are sold out of the white glass cases. Not sure, but if you contact customer service or sales, they will tell you what's up, when it can be, and all that jazz. I have a CX build currently in the assembly phase. Would be awesome to see it live streamed like this, Brandon Service. You know, if you contact our customer service and it's not already being built, awesome. I'll tell you what else is awesome is the thing that Zach is holding in his hand right now. And this is our processor. It's an i9 14900K. Now, I have a 13900KF. Paul, what's the difference between a K and a KF?
Yeah, so pretty easy difference there. The F just means it doesn't have onboard video. So like you mentioned when we were going over the I/O shield, your motherboard I/O has video outputs. A lot of the boards have these, some of them don't. But if your processor has onboard video, like the non-Fs do, you could get video out of your motherboard. Now, you wouldn't want to do that in a gaming place because you're not, obviously using your video card for that. But if you've got, 4 extra monitors and you want to hook some of those up and you're out of video outputs on your motherboard, you could use those.
Absolutely. Now, I know we got a bunch of questions coming in. Let's jump back over real fast. So, Donovan Rochelle, hey Donovan, welcome back. Haven't seen you since Tuesday. Would a 16 gig PC run Call of Duty and World of Warcraft? Our actual World of Warcraft specialist is here right now. Paul, what do you think?
Yeah, it definitely would. WoW for sure. War zones where you're going to get more of the, you might benefit from more than 16 gigs, but having 16 gigs is going to be just fine to play that.
Another question coming in from the TikTok side of the CLX world is that we've got Smitty. Oh, Smitty says, hey guys, just got my PC, but I'm having some glitchy issues playing Fortnite. Paul, what's the best way to go for that?
Yeah, so what do you mean by glitchy issues? Are you dropping frames, or is it if you can give us a little bit more information, that'll help us along the way. Probably the first thing to check is just your in-game settings. Make sure that you're on the right resolution, right refresh rate, get all that set up correctly, and then we can go from there. But if you got a little bit more details, we can help you out a little further.
And Architect, I'm going to get back to your question in just a second. Let's pop over to the Twitch side because we've got some questions coming in here. Violent Echo, hey DJ, how long have you been partnered with CLX? Wow, that's actually a great question. CLX and I have been working together since 2019 when I brought them on board for the Halo Outpost Discovery Tour, and they provided all of our PCs for our Halo Reach experience, which was the very first Halo game on PC with the new gen of those elements. But I would say we finally started doing the show, 2 years ago. It wasn't this last summer, but the summer before. Maybe it was the summer before that. But it's been a while. We've known each other for a very long time. What's your favorite part of being partnered with CLX? I'm going to be really honest. The fact that I work with a team who is not afraid to not take themselves super seriously, in that sense of we get to laugh, we laugh a lot, and it's fun. It's also a great learning experience for me, especially given the professionalism that CLX approaches all of their systems and all of their interactions. But most importantly, I get to help, I hate using the word evangelize, but help advance and promote a product that I believe in, that I use daily, and that nobody else can beat, in my humble opinion. That would be my my best thing. Is the Asus Dual 4060 Ti good, Esmer asks?
Yeah,
I don't know.
That's a
I didn't know that
solid
was a
video
thing.
card. Yeah, so that dual is just referring to the cooler on there. I mean, it's going to have 2 fans. So that's what that dual model is. And yeah, it's a solid video card. It's going to be lightweight,
and then
usually 1 power connector. Pretty good card.
Astro Wolfwind's over here like, yo, my PC came, your PC came. I'm so excited to see pictures. It's going to be great. Speaking of things that are great, we're going to talk about those two things that you're going to see the Zach punched into the board. And those are really fun. That's what we call RAM, and that is two 32 gig sticks of G.Skill DDR5 5600. That is 64 gigs of RAM. Now, I have 64 gigs of RAM in mine. Mine's DDR5 6000, but 64 gigs of RAM is wild, and it's so effective. The other thing that's super effective was if you have yourself a really great operating system drive, and our friend Erwin decided to choose something that's pretty much fairly rare. And here we go. This is actually a Samsung 990 Pro M.2. This is a 4 terabyte Samsung 990 M.2. That means there's over 4,000 gigs worth of data storage space. Now, I have a 4 terabyte on mine for my games, but I have my operating system, a separate one. This means you can have everything you need all in one spot. It's so great. It's so awesome. Oh yeah, if today is update day, it could be a problem. Smitty, have somebody walk me through it. Definitely let Tech Smart. Paul, what would be the best way to get a hold of tech support?
Yeah, so we have our phone number available on our website if you just go there, or we have chat options as well. So if you just hit the website, you should be able to open a chat bubble and we can contact you on there if you prefer that, or you can give us a call. Or if you want to start out on chat and schedule a time for us to call you, we can do that as well.
Yeah, our goal is to make sure that your PC is definitely functioning to its best of its abilities. And sometimes there's just a few settings that maybe you weren't aware of. And that's totally okay. That's what we're here for. We're excited to see how this works out for you, and we are pretty sure it's going to be awesome. Let's jump back up over to the Facebook side of things. So I did get a question. Uh-oh. Why can I not scroll down on Facebook? Come on, Facebook. Get it together.
What up, Hashim?
Did you?
649 build is going to be strong almost a year later. Yeah, John Vincent. Yeah, listen, my build is a 13900 KF and a 3090, and I'm blowing performance out of the water. This thing is wild. 32 gigs for your base on RAM. Excellent suggestion. And Donovan Rochel's like 4 terabytes. Good Lord. GG. So let me bump back up. I have another thing coming in from TikTok because we did have a question, and I promise I'll get back to it. So our architect asks, what's your opinion on the NZXT N7, a B650E, which is the motherboard, N7, a B65 XTW1, that I don't know, but I'm sure the boys know, and an AMD B650 chipset.
Yeah, so the B650 is typically a mid-tier motherboard that pairs well with, I mean, you should be able to put a lot of different AMD CPUs in that. So yeah, it's a solid starter build. Yeah, we build those a lot too.
I just want to apologize to the folks on on the Facebook gaming platform, or the Facebook platform. I may have missed a question or two. If I didn't get to it, it is down below where I can scroll. So just let me know what those questions were, and I can jump right back to them. Coming back down here, we're going to jump over back to the red side. Mujito Mendoza Lopez, hello. Glad you're here. Let's get back over. My voice is sounding better, Emo? Yeah, it is. It's getting there. It's getting there. And Zach had one so Mobile Sniper on the kick site says Zach had one the other day that had over 190 gigs of RAM. What?
So much RAM.
What's that about?
Yeah, it was each stick was either
48.
Each stick was 48.
Whoa!
And it had all 4 days populated.
What is it, 192? Is that what that comes out to?
I think so. I don't know.
One day we'll have those numbers down like we do the rest. Once they start
it should be 192 max because I don't know many boards that go beyond 192 max.
Yeah.
There we go. Jeff's got us in Twitch chat. 192.
Yeah. 'Twas fully loaded.
Let's see here. Now I'm going to jump back up to the top of the Twitch questions. We've got so many comments happening over here. Everybody just hang on for just a second. Those SD cards have DTCK over them. Are we supposed to remove them or leave them for heat protection?
So we like to, obviously you remove that plastic film that's on the thermal pads there. You can put the thermal pad back on. We always do. It's just a little bit more heat dissipation. That being said, M.2s don't generate a ton of heat, so if you want to leave it off, that's fine as well.
Boom, and do that. All right.
No worries.
What's up, Kenneth? Welcome in. Dirty Yankee says, is there a difference having your games on a same drive as your OS, or is separate drives better? I'll let the boys answer that, and then I'll explain why I chose to do mine.
Yeah, so having your games on the same drive as your OS is fine. What you're really looking at is how fast that drive is. So, like for this customer, they just picked a single giant M.2 drive. So their OS is going to be on there, and obviously all the games that they play are going to be on there as well. So having your games on an NVMe drive is going to cut down on your load times. It's going to perform quite a bit better. Now, actual frames in the game, you probably won't notice a difference from it being on an NVMe drive versus a, like a standard hard disk drive. That obviously depends on the games. Some games run better on an M.2. I believe like Star Citizen, right? That's the big one.
Oh yeah.
So
that's kind of nuts.
But yeah, having games on the same drive as your OS is totally fine.
Clinton, glad to hear you here. What's good, everybody? Hope everybody has a great day. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. When is the giveaway stream? That's going to be on Tuesday. Our very first stream of the month is always when we announce our winners, and we're so excited to see who's going to end up winning that. Now, I want to jump back over to Twitch because Vanilla is in the house. Vanilla Condom, welcome in. Isn't it a better practice to spread out the thermal paste before placing the heat sink? Good question. Zach?
It is up to you. I built quite a few systems, so I know what it looks like. I like having that one nice solid line. Every once in a while, I will spread it out. But it is, as long as you have just enough on there, it is perfect.
Cosworth mentions, hey, guys, I found a ROG Strix board to replace my blown one. It's a Z398, but the description doesn't say if it's oversized. Would you say it's a standard ATX size? I'm buying a new case regardless.
Yeah, so that ROG Strix is definitely going to be an ATX. Obviously, I don't think that specific sport is an EATX, but once you get up into that higher end range, that's when it can be ATX or EATX. If you're buying a new case, if it's a full ATX case, most cases now have EATX support, so I would just make sure you've got that just in case.
I do have a question coming in from Architect over here back on the TikTok side. Would you recommend this RAM I'm looking at? Is it good? It's Clev Crash 5 RGB. It is DDR5 6000 CL30. It is two 16 gigs gig sticks for a total of 32 gigs. How do you feel about that?
So I haven't heard of that brand before. Sometimes there's a lot of weird no-name brands that come out that I would not recommend. I don't know if that's one of them, but I'm not familiar with it. As far as capacity and size, yeah, that's a good size to get two 16 gig sticks. Maybe check out the reviews, but I typically on RAM and storage, sometimes you'll find some deals that are seem too good to be true, and most of the time it is. So just kind of be careful, make sure it's got a well-known brand. You can always look at reviews, and if 5,000 people have got it and said it works great, you can go with that. But I haven't heard of that brand.
I do want to jump back over to a quick question we had before I get back up to the top. Mega 254. I'm going to get to you in just a moment. BMC TV asks, how can I get my PC build to be on the live stream? That is an excellent question, and I like Nicole and Ivy are basically our go-tos. Paul, what's the best way to at least get it submitted so we know, hey, you might be cool with that?
Yeah, so the best way to do that is just tag Ivory in whatever chat you're using. He'll see it and see what we can do, but an even better option than that is come into our Discord and let us know, hey, I want to order a PC. I'd like for it to be built on stream. There's no guarantees that we can do it, but if the schedule's cleared up and we can, we will. We've definitely done it before. So.
Bingo. Now to get up to Mega, by the way, thank you so much for waiting. I appreciate you letting me jump in here. And yes, and Salience brings up that some ASRock and MSI actually support up to 256 gigs of RAM. They do. Those are pretty much their top end boards though. So Mega 254 asks question. I'm not tech savvy, so this is going to sound really bad. Trust me, it can't sound bad. You're talking to the biggest idiot here. But the power cord that allows me to turn on the computer with the button on the motherboard, it is conflicting with me installing a 244 millimeter AIO. I could always remove it, but then I can't use the power button on top. Any tips? That's a really good question.
So are you talking about, if we can go to an overhead shot real quick, Jason, I'm going to slide this over, Zach. So some motherboards have a power button, kind of usually on this side. This is the top right of the motherboard. You guys are just seeing it as the bottom right now. That's how we have it oriented. But are you talking about like a power button right here? If that's what you're talking about, usually that's just soldered in and there's no cable. Now, if you're referring to the actual power button that's in the bottom right of the case that runs to the top, we could talk about that a little bit as well. But you should definitely be able to use both.
Nice. So the answer to the question is yes. This is that fun troubleshooting side of that thing I love.
Yeah, so if are you working in a small case or something? Because most ATX cases, it's going to be out of the way enough unless you've got like a push-pull on your radiator. If you're working on a tiny case and you've got a big radiator, sometimes it's just how it goes with their micro ATX. Okay, yeah. So sometimes that's just how it is there, but there shouldn't be like a cable running from a power button that's soldered onto the motherboard. Another great way that we could answer your question a little bit better is if you just take some pictures and put it in our Discord. We can get to it after the show as well if this isn't clear enough.
Yeah, also that, which is really great. By the way, if you guys have not joined our Discord, it is discord.gg/clxgaming. You can find out more by typing !Discord in the chat. What's really fun is because there's a lot of really knowledgeable computer enthusiasts and PC enthusiasts in there that are all about helping, but it's also a great way to figure out, hey, is this something I really need to contact customer service about? Because to be fair, our customer service is hands down the best in the industry. I say that not because I'm contracted here or work here, it's just because it's the truth. Try it, trust me, you'll understand what I say. Is it better to vertically mount a GPU? Artix asks.
So vertically mounting your GPU is really strictly for aesthetics. I wouldn't say that it's better or worse. If you think it looks better that way, then it's better for you. There's not going to be a ton of performance loss. Some people like to talk about the performance loss between the ribbon cable, which is basically the extension that allows you to vertically mount your GPU. It plugs into the GPU, and then it's a cable that comes back and plugs into your motherboard. Now, there is going to be some sort of power loss there, but I don't think it's going to be really measurable as far as like less frames in a game. So totally fine if you want to do that. I think the look of vertically mounting is always really cool. So,
speaking of vertical mounting, there's a bunch of 50+ ones in the red zone. It's red-FLPL, Florida population, or Foxtrot Lima Papa Lima. That is FLPL. Coming back down farther into the chats. Oh, Mega is on a micro ATX case. Yeah, you might be looking at a power supply issue. Who knows? The one that I will say real quick before we go further in the questions category is, Paul, I see that you've got a small black box there. Now, I'm going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to guess that that's the 1,000-watt Silverstone Strider 80+ platinum power supply. Am I right?
you are correct.
So, Paul, how does a power supply provide power if it doesn't have any cables?
So this is a fully modular design, so we don't have any cables pre-soldered in. You can see all these ports right here. So this is what our cables will plug into. They come separate in a bag. I've got them right here. So I'm going to start going through these cables, pulling out the ones that we need for this build, and then that's all we'll plug in. So the customer will get the extras in the accessory bag in case they ever upgrade their system and need it later on. But for instance, this is our 24-pin connector. You can see it's obviously just plugs right in. It's pretty straightforward. I really like the modular design. Super easy to work with. So let's go in.
I'm going to try and not destroy your name there over on TikTok. Kalamanji or Kamangi? I think it's Kalamanji. Welcome. Thank you so much for the input, especially when it comes to looking at things in regards to reviews when you're independently getting things. That's also important. Take a look at those reviews and what nuts. Dirty Yankee said, geez, DJ is smart. I don't feel like that's an adequate assessment of the situation at all, but I appreciate your faith. Let's see, back up here. Wireless charging. Ooh, Kensu. Wait, Kensu, what did you get this wireless charging? Hold on. Back up, Chuck. Rolling back up here. Kensu says, oh, don't ram your RAM. Well, That's the way it sounds. Gotcha. The Asus BTF boards have proprietary cards that draw power from the board directly up to 660 watts, leaving the AIO as the only cable on show. Thoughts on this? Or only cable on show thoughts on this? Cosworth, good question, gentlemen.
It's definitely a cool way to hide the cables. Hey, did we do one of those a few months back, Zach? Did we see an Asus BTF board that had all the power connectors like on the backside and some weird stuff? We may have just been looking at one. I don't know
I feel
if
like we did. No, I feel like we did do one like that. It was really bizarre.
Twas not
Is that the one we had to unmount and remount the motherboard?
I don't think we built one on the show. I think we may have got a board in and we're talking about it.
Okay.
It's really cool. I like that they're trying to find a way to eliminate seeing your cables in the case. Now that being said, it's kind of hard when you've got to move around the power connectors, because like if you put your 24-pin motherboard connector on the back of your motherboard, a lot of cases there's no cutout or hole for that, so it's kind of tough to do right now. So once it becomes more popular and the case manufacturers start designing cases for that, then we'll see a whole bunch of it, I'm sure.
Jumping back up here, maybe the MSI Zero project and Salem Temp actually might be correct. Let's take a look at Esmer says, so I was wondering if the GPU fans are supposed to spin. It's a 4060 Ti. Honestly, the only time they're supposed to spin is if the device needs cooling. Like right now, none of my 3090 fans are spinning at all. But if I play a game, you best believe there's a wind tunnel up in there.
Yeah, that was something that was kind of reserved for the higher end cards a little bit back in the day, but now pretty much every card is doing that, to where if you just boot up your PC and you're just at your desktop and your GPU fans aren't spinning, that's not a bad sign. It just means it's cool enough and it's only going to spin them up when it needs to.
Yes. Okay, thank you. Just making sure. Yeah. I agree, because of course, I overthink everything known to mankind, and twice on Sundays, and if it's not spinning, then what's wrong with it? Until I realized, well, it's just not warm yet. It's just nothing wrong with it. It's just not working hard yet. Once it starts chugging along, yeah, you'll get your fans turned on. Now, here's the thing to remember: if you only have one of your fans on your GPU spinning, that's a problem. They don't turn on one at a time. It's either all or nothing. Just please keep that in mind. I'd be like, well, I had somebody in my chat the other day who DM'd me. He's like, hey, I was wondering, I only have one of my fans spinning. Does that mean it's just not all the way up to par yet? Like, well, has it ever spun? Well, no, I just assumed it started one and then went to the next one. Now, Paul, correct me if I'm wrong, but that's a problem, right?
Yeah, if one's fan spinning, the rest should be spinning. I haven't seen anything come out where it's like targeting a specific fan to spin.
I also want to jump back to a comment that was made earlier about questioning, like, hey, you always wear this snazzy looking windbreaker. Well, it's because I'm on a CLX show. I want to be CLX branded. Look at this thing. It's wicked. I got the CLX brand there. I got the reverse CLX brand there. It's awesome. And when you're ordering your PC, you too can grab yourself, and I say this without malice and knowing that I am definitely, privileged on this level, but this is literally the best windbreaker I've ever had in my life.
They are really nice.
Thick enough that it keeps you warm without overheating you. It doesn't overheat you, but man, it stops the wind real fast. These are great. So check it out. You can also get t-shirts, hats, jackets in different versions, windbreakers, different versions there. That's a lot of fun over there. Jumping back to TikTok real fast. Look at you sending us some teddy bears and roses. I do love it. That is absolutely amazing. I dig it. How much do I need to spend to get 200 FPS on COD? Well, that's Zaveni. That is an excellent question. What resolution are you playing at? That's the biggest question I have. What resolution are you trying to play at?
That's the most important thing. If you're going for 1080, you don't have to spend that much to get 200 frames there. But if you're looking at 2K, 4K, that's when we need to drop a little bit more money to get up there.
Architect asked, did I ever ask if the 7900 XTX could run 4K 144 at the same time? You know, that's an excellent question.
It definitely
Again,
can.
what are you playing and what runs, you know?
Depends on the game and all that. So, but yeah, it definitely can. It's a top line Radeon card there, so just depends on what you're playing.
Speaking of things that are radiated, let's talk about the month of February and the final day of the month, which is actually only going to happen again in 4 years, which should be fun. But right now, Nicole dropped a special leap year day code. It is FEB, Foxtrot Echo Bravo. That's short for February for those who are confused. -1G2V. That is 1 Golf, 2 Victor, or 1 guy, two variations. 2 Volvos.
Yeah.
That's too close to things I don't want to say. What? Danny Gota? Hi, welcome. What's going on? Can I get a price on each of them? Wait. Well, Devani, I'm not sure to which.
So if you're
Have you been over to our
with,
website and just goofed around? Because it's really fun there.
I'll give you just like a rough estimate without going over there. So that at 1080 you want 1080 resolution, you want 200 frames a second. You know, you're looking at between 12 and 1500. And maybe even a little cheaper, depending on what you go with. So I'll say between like 1,000 and 1,500, and that gives you some room to mess around with extra fans, however you want it to look. And then once you get up in that 2K to 4K range, then you're going to want to be, 1,500 plus, 15 to 2 grand.
And this is just for the tower. This is not for a monitor, correct?
I would assume so.
Okay.
By the way, Architect says, gotta go, guys. Thanks for answering my questions. Absolutely every time. Dude, it was so good to see you. We look forward to seeing you on the next stream. Back over here onto the Twitch side, we've got a question coming in. First of all, Nicole with that code and then Ivory over on the Kick side with another code. That's blue-PFES. Probably fits external systems. And there you go. Splash Prince in here. What's up? Welcome. When and how is the giveaway winner notified? The winner will be notified on our live stream on Tuesday. I'll be announcing that live on Tuesday. Plus, you're going to be getting an email from our friends over at Gleam. Here we go. Gleam. Sorry, I was trying to not say the other name and be a complete jerk. But yeah, there we go. Let's jump back over to Facebook. Are you guys going to live stream my build? Josh Toon asked. Josh, so that is a question you definitely want to approach customer service about, and or Ivory. I know Ivory's gonna hurt me for even just throwing his name out there, but yeah, that's your best bet to say, hey, look, I'm a fan of the show. I would love to see my build, my PC built live on the show. It'd be really cool. If we have a schedule, if our schedule is free for that day and we don't have anything else coming up, then sure, that might be something that's possible. We can't guarantee it just because of how many orders come through every day. Would Cosworth, let's back over to you on the Twitch side. Would you say an M.2 is waste with my 9700K? Considering getting one to get rid of my current SSD and mechanical setup and cloning the OS over.
No, definitely not a waste.
Paul?
Yeah, definitely not a waste at all. Your storage isn't really going to interfere with your CPU unless you're talking about like way older than that. So no, the 9700K would be just fine.
And the nice thing about upgrading the M.2 is when you go to upgrade to a new processor, you already have your M.2 drive. Like you already have your storage all set. So.
Yeah, Josh, definitely hit up customer service there, buddy. Jumping back to TikTok, thank you guys for being so
cables.
For being so patient over here. Lots of questions coming in, which I dig. I think. Do you have any? So Zavani asks, do you have any pre-built around that price that would be close to the 200 FPS mark? Well, I'll tell you what, Zavani, we actually use something on our website that gives you the opportunity to actually look at how different games perform based on the build. So if you head on over to clxgaming.com, you're going to notice that 3D Mark is something that we get. So if you start looking at our pre-builds, take a... Yeah, so let's go ahead and let's jump to the site real fast. We won't go through all the metrics. Let's do that later. But if you check it out, so let's go over to our pre-built section real fast there, Jason. So if you go to our ready to ship, and these are awesome. I love these. So let's jump to a mid-tier. So they got let's jump to like a let's go down a little bit farther into a mid-level. Let's go to that CLX set on the right, the 1109. Let's jump to the 1109 real quick.
And I like how they're all color coordinated, color coded too.
That's something we just added recently to just kind of give you a good idea of what to shoot for.
If you actually click on the customize section, which is that little red button that's underneath my big fat head, it takes you to the configurator just in case there's things you want to adjust. So, go to add-ons is what we're looking for, yeah. Now, once you get here, do you see on the right-hand side, the upper right-hand side where it says 3D Mark? Here's the fun part. Now, you can click from Fortnite, and there's a whole bunch of different options. There's Fortnite, Call of Duty Warzone, Minecraft, Apex Legends. I believe the question that you had was about Call of Duty. So if we go to the right over there and we select, instead of Fortnite, we select Call of Duty, which is the one just below it. Then you're going to see, so this build will get you on the average at 1080p, about 115 FPS at 1440, 55. Now, what that means is you might want to take a look at upgrading a couple different things. You might want to take a look at upgrading the graphics card, maybe the processor, maybe a little bit of both. Paul, in your opinion, what's the best way to get more FPS when it comes to upgrading different pieces of the pre-builds?
Yeah, so the best way is obviously first off going to be your video cards. Like that one right there at a 3060. I think if you upgraded to a 4060 Ti, you'd see those frames jump up right to where you're looking for. And then you could even upgrade the CPU like you mentioned a little bit. You know, you could still rock that i5, maybe go with a newer version, but yeah, the i5 is going to be great.
And Devani was asking, and I know this sounds dumb, not dumb, absolutely not dumb. But can I upgrade my PC whenever I want from the pre-built? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, this is not a proprietary situation. We try and make this as easy as possible for you, which is good stuff. And if you have questions once you've got your pre-built, guess what you can do? You have lifetime customer service and technical support. So just keep that in mind. Well, and labor, actually. So the graphics card might be the first thing that you could upgrade. That would be really amazing. And by the way, everybody on Twitch, I see your messages. Hang on just a second. We'll catch up there in just a second. But so what was that? What was our graphics card on that build that we just looked at?
I believe it was a 3060 if I saw correctly.
There we go, 3060. So, Jason, can we pop that back up and see what happens when we switch that up to, say, a 40 series card? I just want to see what that difference is on the pre-builds. Oh, it's not an option? Okay.
That one. Thank you.
Gotcha. So the other thing you can do is take a look at what's in that pre-built and then go ahead and apply it to a build you want to make, and then you can custom adjust it, which could be really fun. Also, it's hilarious to see the things that you can go with. Let's take a look. So our 3060 is right there. Now, if you were to jump up to something a little bit higher, that could definitely improve that FPS. I know that I went from a 2070 to a 3090, literally twice the frame rates and resolution. It's absolutely wicked, absolutely fun. So taking a look at those little things, and then you create your own and kind of adjust and tweak things as necessary to get that 3D mark up to where you want it. And once you got it there, you are golden, man. You're golden. It's going to be fun for the most part. Julia Bray says, God bless. Have a very good day. Much love. Cheers. Thank you for the help. Just know this would be the place I buy my PC from, Zavani. Excellent. We absolutely, or Zaveni, excuse me. We appreciate that, and we're looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun to see how your build turns out. Now, I've got 36 messages deep, so let me jump through Twitch real fast so we can get to some of this stuff. Would you say that, we already did that one. I'm new to PC gaming, says Black Meat. And I have an ASRock Z790 Taichi Carrera. Ooh. An NVIDIA 4090 Founders Edition, 128 gigs of RAM. Good Lord. Compensating much? No, just kidding. 10 fans in my case. My question, is there a limit on how long I can play or run my PC?
Just on how long
Dude,
you can
you
stay
basically
awake.
have Skynet in your pocket. Come on. Have you seen The Matrix? Yeah, so that's an amazing build right there. Good grief. Absolutely incredible. Love it. That sounds great. Let me jump back up here. Splash Prince, there was only 3 +1 codes given by Nicole, right? Pretty sure I would let Nicole answer that because I'm not positive. We aren't getting a 92929. You know, actually, now that you mention that, at 2/29/29, that's no. Sadly, that's not how dates work. Our on stream next week. Does homie with the luscious hair build all the PCs? Asks Cage Proto. On the show right now, yeah, he does. He does. That is Zach, and yes, he's got a lion's mane when it comes to hair.
Thank you.
Wicked. And then Ivory just reinforcing that blue PFES, Paul's friends, extremely senile. For both platforms, Gober. There we go. Ben, separately looking for February codes to unlock the extra entries. Yes, absolutely. So, Vanilla asks, do you even need to get as high as 200 FPS? I mean, will the human eye notice the difference with 120, for example? Vanilla, I'm going to answer that question over just as a professional gamer and what I do. Yeah, I can totally see it. When I bring down, when I'm streaming at 60 FPS, you sometimes get screen tearing because you have to compress what you're pushing out and through your capture card in. Now, luckily, I have a really high-end AverMedia card. Props to AverMedia. But if it's 60 FPS, you have to consider what happens to the extra frames if you're going from 144 to 60. If I go from 120 to 60, that means it's simply cutting my frames in half, and it should be an even flow. But if I do 180 frames, it's very similar. The problem is that I can absolutely 1000% tell a difference between 100 FPS. For example, when I'm playing, I have a 144 hertz monitor. But when I'm on Ultra with Rainbow Six Siege at 4K, I'm pulling 265. And even that is noticeably different, even though the monitor can't pull that. It compressed it down to 144. So yes, there's definitely a difference in my opinion. Paul, Zach, your experience?
Yeah, so I am still rocking 144, but just the change from from 60 to 144, when you enable it, you'll just notice the way your mouse moves across your desktop. You'll just notice that's way smoother. So I haven't gone up to 165 or anything higher than that yet, but I bet you do notice it. I was kind of on the board as well, where it's like, you might not even be able to tell, but I think you really can. So.
Scott Wins in the house. Welcome in, buddy. And the other thing, there's a lot of people who are like, your eye can't see any more than 60 FPS. Yeah, no. If my eye can't see more than 60 FPS, when I turn my head like this, I would see stuttering. Do I? No. The color coordination definitely helps with the newbie like me. Yes. Honestly, I completely agree. By the way, and yes, we do have another pink code coming out today on my stream. We're going to play in some Skull and Bones. I'll be there with Scott Wins, and our friend Winter will be there. We're going to see if we can get even bigger ships. It'll be a lot of fun. With over 3 million entries, a few hundred more here could help the chain. Yes, it could definitely help and affect it. And here we go. Danny Butt says, Danny Butt, by the way, I'm so glad to have you back. It's so good to see you. Reposting those, super appreciative. 3 codes in 20 minutes. Listen, Ivory's just firing it off today. Firing it off. I need to upgrade to a better PC. My laptop is from 2018 and has an NVIDIA 1650 in it. Gentlemen, the Ulrich 2005. What would you recommend?
So are you upgrading just your laptop or the whole shebang? If you're upgrading, getting just a whole new system, pick out an i5, i7, Ryzen 5, Ryzen 7. And go with a 4060 Ti or better. That's just going to really put you in a good spot. If the budget's a little tight, the 3060 and 4060 are also great options that you could upgrade down the road. But yeah, that's where I would start.
Yeah, apparently it's an Acer Nitro 5, so I would definitely say. Yeah, and the Black Meat, as far as your build, I mean, that build's wicked. I would definitely say don't leave it on 24/7, but... Reciprocal wants to know, question is then, which VR set? Ooh.
I haven't delved into the world of VR yet, so I can't give you a recommendation there. Still waiting on the
Apple one's overpriced.
The right MMO to come out for that.
Yep. Ivory mentions also, guess what, people? There's not 3, it's 4. It's another pink code. This one, 200 entries. It is pink-MOA. No, wait, that's not more. It's pink-J8E4. Jammer 8 Echo 4. There we go. Doing the work. Doing the Lord's work over there, Ivory. Yeah, you want the... Yeah, so Cage Protos is dope. Been watching for a few months now and wanted him to build mine. Oh! Dude, definitely hit up customer service. Tell them, listen, you want Zach to build it on the show.
Yeah.
We'll see what we can do. We can't guarantee anything, but definitely that, you know...
And if we can't get it on the show, just let them know, and Zach can build it, you know, off the show as well.
Yeah.
Fits at my desk.
And if you want,
doesn't
you can
get the
sign
black
the case.
glove treatment.
Yeah. It's,
And he'll sign the case. I still wish I'd had you guys sign my case. It's rain codes. Hallelujah. Yes, agreed.
we do like a Zach and Paul after dark.
Yeah.
That'd be a good one.
Right?
And it's like Adult Swim. It only comes on after 11 o'clock.
Yep.
Like it is like we're both just
Exactly.
like
Here we go.
drinking
Like,
coffee,
what's up? Yeah.
trying to stay awake.
Get to see us.
I was supposed to
regular.
be in
Both
bed
like-
2 hours ago.
Yeah.
Reciprocal says, I completely see in 20 FPS. I see in 20 FPS.
You might
if
need
I'm,
an optometrist.
right? Like, if I'm baked, maybe.
What, you
I
don't
gotta be
have,
dying like
you don't
make
have
it
the
night.
PowerPoint
And you're
filter
making
turned on?
Cupcakes or what?
No, I don't. Listen, Jake Krosky over on the kick side says MetaQuest 3 is the best for your money. I have heard that, actually. I've heard a lot of things about that, which is good stuff. Good stuff. It would be pretty funny if it was really pink more. Right? I saw it and was like, wait, is this 2 codes in one? I can't tell. M. Parsons asks, how much RAM is good for a system for only gaming? Good question.
So 16 is pretty much the baseline right now. It used to be 8, now it's 16. So we see a lot of 16s, and you can even go up to 32 if you want to go all out.
Can I repeat the pink code? Let me roll back up here and see what I can find. It is pink-J8E4 Jasper 8 Echo 4. There we go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and like I have 64 gigs on mine, but it does. I don't just game on this. I also process music on here, and so that really helps with just. Well, actually, you know what, Paul? That's an excellent question. Why does it help that I have more RAM when I'm processing music than if I were to have less RAM?
Yeah, so for like doing any, like you said, music processing, video editing, that's really reliant on your RAM. It's trying to store as much as it can on that RAM. So those projects will get done faster on those, such like Photoshop, you know, all those good programs. So
CAD.
yeah, so that's where you'll benefit a lot from
CAD,
that.
yeah.
Going from 32 gigs to 64 gigs in a game, you're not going to notice any frame rate increase.
Saskoist asks the obvious question: can't you just download more RAM?
Of course. Why pay for it when you can just download it?
Is downloading illegal?
But would you download a car?
What the did you just say? No, you can't download more RAM. Good Lord.
That big boy.
This atrocious thing right here.
Yes.
Right? And Salients, if I could download RAM, I'd download a car. You are not wrong, sir.
Yeah, I'd totally
not wrong
download
at
a
all.
car. Joke's on you, old VHS tapes.
Speaking of old VHS tapes, guess what I just got into watching? Well, I haven't seen it in forever because I burned out 2 different VHS copies of it. It was one of my first. It was the first time that I ever see a Batman movie. It was the first Batman with Michael Keaton and
So good.
Michael Keaton and Jack Nicholson. And it was a Tim Burton film. It was, at the time, it was amazing. Cheeseball, but amazing. And that was like my let's go with it. Well, it's now on HBO, and I was like, what? I get to watch that again. It brought back so many I'm 8, memories. I'm an 8-year-old child, which is not too far off, mentally speaking. Welcome, everybody. Thank you for the hosts over on TikTok. Wish Cam, Zito, thank you. Welcome in. I watched my VHS Batman a million times. Shin,
I
bruh,
had
right?
that as well.
That was a regular thing in my house, and I had no problems with it.
I think the one I had.
I know
had,
that
like,
movie inside and out.
Arnold as Mr. Freeze, and was Poison Ivy in that one as well.
Oh,
I think that's
God,
the one I
definitely
had.
the one
I don't
film.
remember
The
the
one
title.
film George Clooney regrets, and every time somebody's like, talk about Batman Forever, he's like, or we could not. I've apologized on many occasions for that.
Also, I just watched Clerks because it's free on Amazon Prime right
Oh my
now.
God.
So PSA, if you got
Clerks is
Amazon
so
Prime, you
hilarious.
can watch it for free. It wasn't always like that. Clerks is the best. Top
Clerks was
5
so
of
good.
all time.
Danielle Lavelle over on Facebook says, I got a whole drawer full of RAM somewhere.
37, bro. Yeah.
I mean, technically, yeah.
We totally
Jason's right.
could.
You guys could be Jay and Silent Bob for Halloween. That'd be hilarious. Speaking of things that are hilarious, let's talk about the size of that thing that Zach just pulled up in his hand before he plugs it in. And that is our PNY GeForce 4090. This thing is absolutely wild how big it is. Paul, we didn't really get to talk a lot because we've been answering questions like crazy. Good Lord, that's a thick beast.
It's a thick
That's
lady.
a big
that's
baby.
for sure.
How heavy is that thing?
I would weight it at 1 stone.
I agree.
That granite
It's a big
marble.
card. Yep, 4090, 24 gigs of RAM. Obviously, I mean, you guys all know about the 4090s. Top of the line right here. Just a gaming beast. Now, we do have our anti-sag bracket installed, so we'll definitely need to see that. So right under this GeForce here, where my finger is, you can see those holes. So that's our anti-sag bracket, and now that Zach's got it in here, we can put on the tab that actually holds it in place, which is what he's going to do right now.
Also develop over on the kick side. Anybody here chatting from Florida? We got a bunch of people from Florida up in here. Over on the TikTok side, let me scroll back up because Cam has a question. Cam says, if the lights on my motherboard, and it ain't getting power, is that my power? If the lights aren't on the motherboard, does that mean it's not getting power from my power supply?
Most likely.
Gentlemen.
So if you've got a board that just has some lights, like we've seen it on this, we built a ton like that. This board doesn't have that, but where you plug in power, your PC is totally off, but you just have some RGB lights that just glow with your PC being off. If you have those on your motherboard and they're not on, yes, that does mean that motherboard's not getting power. So what's going to power that is that 24-pin connector, that biggest connector on your board, which is right here on this. So typically it's going to be in that same spot on every motherboard. So you may just push that down. Hopefully you hear a click and that'll solve your issues. Or if you don't, unplug it, plug it back in. That's a good first thing to check. Other than that, you can check the actual switch on the back of your power supply. You'll see one is a O and the other is a straight line. And just remember the O means off. So sometimes that can get hit and you just flip it to the on and might fix your issue that way.
Oh my God, remind me to express you a joke about what you just said after the show, because I can't say that on the air. Zeus20 is like, what is this, speed building? You're not wrong. To be fair, like
We're chilling.
cracking this thing right out, which is awesome. Like just clickety, clickety, click. There we go. Violent Echo says, guys, I only have like 1,700. Well, I would definitely take a look at, how many extra entries. Oh, sorry, 1,700 entries. Well, I'll tell you what, I've got another 200 I'm going to be giving out on stream later today. I may even go back over some previous codes that I let go, that in case some of you who are needing some extras, listen, man. Now, normally we always just say, hey, come on to the streams. But, people got jobs. All it takes is one entry to win, and that is the truth. Silent J has been in everywhere, and he's got almost 6,000 entries. What the heck? Cam does say that my PC was idling and I heard a loud pop and it turned off and now it won't turn back on. Cam, that, my friend, is an issue.
Yeah, 9 times out of 10, that's a capacitor that popped in your power supply. Could be a capacitor on another component, but 9 times out of 10, it's that power supply.
That means your house got hit by a surge.
Yeah. Now, the upside is, because I've had that happen with my very first gaming PC, and it was because I didn't quite have enough power, and I was riding that power supply at top performance constantly, and it finally just gave out. So what I did do is I got a new power supply, plugged and traded it out. Worked amazingly well, and popped back on. Still works to this day.
And sometimes
Thanks. I was just making sure.
power supplies have really good warranties on them. So if you've got like a well-known brand, you could definitely hit up that brand, and it might be under warranty. So.
And I'll be honest, am I allowed to say this? Because they were really good about replacing it. But am I allowed to say who it was?
I don't see a problem with it, but I don't make those rules.
So I had a Corsair, and I just didn't have a big enough Corsair. And so, but it was within like 4 months that this happened. And I was like, hey, this happened. They're like, well, let's talk about it. I paid the difference, and they sent me a new one. It was cool. They were very cool about it.
Okay.
How many CPU slots from the power supply does that GPU use for the connector cross gas? That's an 8-pin. 16-pin.
So this
9
is
pin.
4 8-pins for this GPU, if that's what you're referring to.
8, 16,
24.
24, 30.
32.
32 pins. There we go. I had to do that math in my head because I am not smart. There we go. How much watts do I need with an i5 10400 and a 3050?
Not a lot. So you could, probably bare minimum is 500, but I'd recommend going with a 600 watt power supply or more for that build.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's back up here and take a look. 'Cause I know I've been missing a few things. Capacitors, yes. You guys have any experience with Ethernet power line adapters? My Wi-Fi sucks, so I have to resort to other solutions.
I really don't, unfortunately.
Have you considered prayer? Yeah. You use one to run your TV and it works fine? There we go.
I'm lucky enough to have fiber in our neighborhood, so.
I eat
God.
fiber cereal.
Skywalker.
It's pretty yummy.
Yeah, it's good.
Yeah.
Keeps you regular.
Yeah. It's good for your mental
Skywalker
health.
brings up something that's a little terrifying.
Yeah.
Skywalker mentions my PC is still running Windows 8.
Yeah. Oh.
Is that on purpose?
Ooh. Go back to 7.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's, coming back down here, we've got another, welcome in, Psychedelic Beat, first time chatter, welcome to the show. Hi, I want to ask something. I want to plug a 1050 TIOC on my new ROG motherboard, but surprisingly, it doesn't recognize it. Is this behavior right, or is there something wrong? Good
It
question.
should definitely recognize your 1050 Ti. So, check your drivers. There might be a motherboard driver. Just go to ROG's website, Asus's website, put in your model, and I would just re-download all those drivers. But it should definitely see it.
From the red side, we got what Leon Lee case is that? This is an 011 XL. This is our raw case, which is super fun. Would you guys recommend getting a tall tower for 10 fans with an AIO? Or could you fit all that in a mid tower? Ooh, good question coming in. Let's see.
Yeah, so mid towers are a surprisingly large size range. So a mid tower could be something like that's this tall and fits an ATX to something that's as big or bigger than this. So yeah, you could definitely get a mid-size tower case and fit all those fans in there. Like I think this is technically a mid tower. It's not the full size, and this is obviously a pretty big case. The NV7, we built those. That's technically a mid-tower case, which is kind of laughable because it's definitely huge. But
yeah.
it's just the way
say,
things are classified for like motherboard compatibility and whatnot.
Yeah.
Like a 011 Evo is probably a pretty good size. That can house
That Evo is wicked.
3, 3, and 3. So that can house quite a bit. It's also big enough to where you can have all your cards.
Oh yeah.
Evos are kind of that sweet spot with the next gen size of cards and stuff.
Yep. Just remember, everybody, that it's always easier to get the codes if you show up on time for the shows. Our shows start Tuesdays and Thursdays at 11 a.m. Pacific. That is 2 Eastern, which we love. Any PC for beginners user multi-numbers asked, there's a lot of options, and it depends on what you're wanting to do with it. Are you looking to use it for gaming, or are you looking to do it for like homework, studying, design, AutoCAD, music, video editing? There's a lot of different ways to answer that question. Cam says, I got a tough Z590. Oh, gotcha. All right. 590s are a little bit, they're solid.
Yep, I'm on the Z590 chipset as well on my personal rig. Getting close to time to upgrade, but it's still running strong.
Silent J asks, says there was a hidden code in the picture of the giveaway in one of the stories on Instagram. Was there? I don't know. I guess you'll have to go follow our Instagram, turn notifications, and watch our stories for more information. I guess that post is down. Well, they only last for 24 hours. Can I have a case recommendation? I want to go as small as I can without having to get an ITX board. Oh, there's some good questions because we don't get a whole lot of these. Paul, take it away.
Yeah, I like Zach said the 011 Mini is a good one. Let me think here. A P300 isn't super small, but it's from Fantex. I would like that. That's a smaller case. Doesn't take up a lot of space, and you can fit a lot in there. Those two are probably what I would start out with. We've got a lot of Game DS cases that we like as well. But yeah, those two options are what I'd go with if you're not wanting to go all the way down to ITX.
Absolutely. Shelby, I see you over there on the Facebook side. I wonder what the codes. Let me go ahead and read off what we've got so far. So we've got a pink dash Jack 8 Echo 4, Jammer 8 Echo 4. We also had a red code that is red dash NDF7. That's not doing Forever 7. Yeah. And then we've got Feb dash 1G2V and red dash FLPL, Florida, Papa Lima. There we go. Daniel Yacarino. What's up, Daniel? How are you? Or is it just Dan? Either way, you love your Select PC. Thank you, Shelby. We love it too. We love that you love it. And Daniel, definitely, man. Again, if you have pictures of your PC setups, you can put them in our Discord at discord.gg/clxgaming. And in the CLX setup pics, yo, send us your videos, send us your pictures. Please let us see that you love what's going on. I dig it a lot. Daniel mentions Daniel LaBelle, which is funny because I went to high school with a guy named Dan LaBelle. No, wait, that was Tabell. Yep, never mind, wrong person. Might head over to your site here and customize in the middle of shopping around. Think I got a build in everyone's cart right now, and I don't want to rush into it like last time. Yeah, honestly, and the best thing is, if you want to just contact customer service, be like, hey, this is what I'm thinking of doing. These people are experts in their field. They know what they're talking about when it comes to, all right, this could work, but you might not need to have this upgraded this far. You also might need to upgrade this because that's going to get you a better performance for the thing that you're looking to do here. So keep that in mind, and please don't hesitate. Give us a ring and say like, yo, is this right? Because that's, you're looking at the guy who does that constantly with everybody. Astro Wolfwing just posted theirs. Nice. Oh, that looks so good, Astro. It looks so good. Oh my God, that PC is wicked. So wicked. I love it. Looks so good. Once again, it's over on our Discord. It's in the CLX setup picks, and it's super, super fun. I dig it a lot. How many? Oh, interesting. Wait, how many CPU slots does the power from the power supply does the CPU? Okay, I think we answered that one. The new power supply came with cables that went straight into my GPU. All right, well, there you go. My room doesn't have coax. Well, then I guess single axe is all you got. Get it? Coax, single axe. Yeah. It's like paranoia. I get my noyas in singles. Now, wait, I don't have two of them at the same time.
Smart.
Less things talking in the back of my head. Let's go back over here to Euro Breaks. Hi, buddy. What's going on? Can I have a recommendation? Yeah, you already... an ITX PSU. Currently have a full ATX board and a full ATX PSU. Is it worth upgrading to an i9 14900K from an i9 12900K? I have a 3080 Ti currently and might get a 7900 XTX. Gentlemen, this is your wheelhouse. You decide this.
Yeah, so if you're gaming right there, that 12900K is a really good processor. I wouldn't worry about upgrading right now unless you just have the funds and you want to. And if, was it a 3090 you said, DJ, I think? Is what they had. If it's a 3080 Ti.
3080 Ti.
Yeah, I would honestly stick with that 3080 Ti too. Those are both really high-end components that still got plenty of life left in them. So, unless you're just one upgrade to upgrade, I wouldn't touch it.
Jumping back over here to the Twitch side. What's better, a 3070 or a 4060 Ti? I would say that 4060 Ti, honestly.
Yeah, that 4060 Ti
is
is what I would go with. That 3070 is still a solid card, and in some games you might notice better performance on that. But as time goes on, that 4060 Ti is just going to outperform that 3070 with every new game that comes out.
And it has DLSS 3.
There you go.
Whereas the 30 series card only has DLSS 2. And I'm in a 30 series card right now, and I love it. I know the 40 series is going to be wicked, but I also, this thing is kind of wild. Continuing down here, one more final question from Psychedelic Beast. One more question. I'm trying to get my original Windows 10 installation that comes from a system with AMD FX 6300 on it to work on an Intel i9 14900K by cloning the drive, but it doesn't work for me. Is what I'm trying to do possible, or will I have to purchase software like PC Mover and transfers my user and applications to my new rig? Gentlemen?
So I don't think you're going to have to purchase any software for that. I wouldn't think so, but that is a really long gap going from FX 6300 to current gen. I mean, we were using FX 6300 when I first started here like 9 years ago. So that's definitely a big change. Anytime you got that big enough gap, sometimes there's some issues. So if you're dead set on it, I would just, you could try to clone your drive and do it. If anything, you can just download the ISO file, get all the actual stuff, download the ISO file from Windows, get all the stuff you want on there, and that way you can just do a fresh install. But
yeah, which is always a thing. Now, the other thing that I would love to point out, I know we kind of jumped into it just a tad, but for those of you who are still looking, pirates go, I be agreeing with that there, lad. Now, here's one thing I will say that I would love to jump back over to our website. Let's really take a look at how you can best utilize what we've got as an option and see if you can get your hands on the PC of your dreams, which I'm pretty sure you can. Let's take a look. At clxgaming.com, we try to make it as easy as possible for you to get the PC of your dreams. Now, let's go ahead and start with our big PC aficionados. You guys know who you are, the PC heads. Listen, you can build a PC of anything you like. Now, whether you want to get a case like mine, a big case, a small case, a mid-tower case, a case with designs, a case you get designed, that's all something you can fit here. You can choose whether or not you want it open looped, which means you've got a reservoir and it's got all the water cooling and stuff, or do a closed loop. All of those are available, including multiple different cooling options. We also have a way to ensure that you won't end up with incompatible elements. Why? Because we test it all. See how that little green button turned to yellow up above? I know, everybody's like, you say this every week. That's okay. What that means is, and this is a great example, say you get that Asus TUF Gaming Z690 motherboard, and it's a DDR5 board, but you chose DDR4 RAM. Well, you have two options. Either you can choose a DDR4 board or choose DDR5 RAM. Once you've selected two things that match, it's going to say, hey, conflicts resolved, and you're going back to green. Then you can continue choosing. Now, we've got lots of options available here. You want to upgrade your thermal paste? You can. You want to overclock your GPU, your CPU, or even both? You can do both of those things right there. You want to decorate it? Awesome. We also have a lot of streaming gear. Like, for example, we have capture cards. We have Beacon products like the Beacon Mix Create, the Beacon mic. Great things to get you started streaming that are really top-notch quality products. You want to get us windbreakers so you can rep the CLX brand, kind of like this. Look at that. This thing makes me look beefy. It's a lie, but it's okay. T-shirts, hats, windbreakers, and more. We got it all here. Chairs, routers, headphones, and speakers. A little bit of everything. So we become your one-stop shopping center, but don't feel so overwhelmed that you just can't do it. We've got, as we mentioned before, pre-built, ready to go systems right here. They're already tested and looking for a home, and who knows, that home might just be for you. So check it out. If you need to adjust or adapt or alter things, you are more than welcome to do that as well with those. But it's something that is just, make sure that it meets your needs and fits your personality or your brand. So for all of your future PC and gaming needs, head on over to clxgaming.com. See what we can do for you today. Here we go. I can always tell when things are right because all I hear in the background is just the peeling of the plastic off of the glass.
Yeah.
I'm like, nothing says fun like concentration
sound.
destroyed. Hold on, let's see here. We did have one other question come in over on the TikTok side. Says, what's good for PC? What's a good PC for streaming and gaming? It depends on what you're trying to do. And I'll be honest, let me answer that question with all sincerity. My gaming PC is a monster. My streaming PC is real basic. It doesn't require a whole lot of power to stream. You just got to make sure that you have the parts that can do the job. I'm running a Ryzen 5 3600X with a 1070, 16 gigs of DDR3 RAM, and my AverMedia capture card. This thing is doing fine. So if you're going to be gaming and streaming on the same machine, then you're going to need to get something pretty hardcore because you've got to consider you have all the task requirements that need to be performed for the stream side for it to be smooth, but you need to have enough overhead so that you can run your games without risking degrading either experience for the end user or the viewer. So, there we go. Now, that being said, you know what we've done today? We have built an amazingly beautiful PC for our friend Erwin in Florida. So let's take a look and see what we've got one more time and see what it looks like with the power on. What? That looks great.
Looks great.
I really love how the back exhaust fan, like, it bleeds off onto the white of the motherboard. Mm-hmm. That looks hella good. Well done, gentlemen. Let's once again go back through what we've got for our PC here going to Erwin in Florida. This, of course, is an 011 Raw. It's a DXL full tower black by Liam Lee. It has an Intel Core i9-14900K processor mounted on an MSI Pro Z790A Max Wi-Fi motherboard with 64 gigs of dual channel DDR5 6000 memory by G-Skill and that NVIDIA RTX 4090 by PNY. This thing is already going to rock. The operating system has been installed on a 4TB Samsung 990 Pro M.2. And of course, we've got the CPU cooled by our CLX Quench 360 closed loop liquid AIO. That's an all-in-one liquid cooler, and 10 AMD Aeolus M2 ARGB fans, all being powered by that monster 1000-watt Silverstone Strider 80 Plus Platinum power supply. Now, I do want to say this, Paul, I mentioned something when I was talking about the website that we didn't really talk about, and that is, well, where is Erwin's computer going now that it's built?
Yes, now that we've got it built and it powers on, it's going to go to our testing department. So the first thing we do there is get into the BIOS. We'll make sure our RAM speed's set correctly. All of our storage devices are showing up. So on this, we'll make sure that the motherboard's seeing the M.2. And then after that, we'll actually load the system. So I believe he picked Windows 11 Home. So we'll load that operating system on there. If they picked any games, that's where we would load those as well. We don't put any bloatware on the system. So you're only going to get what you pick. After that, we do a stress test for about 12 hours, and that allows us to make sure everything's stable. Sometimes a stick of memory or another component can turn on and look fine just like this, but once you're gaming, causes it to fail. So that allows us to, if that were to happen, that allows us to catch it here and make sure it's stable when it leaves.
Absolutely. Well, this is looking great, and it's going to be awesome. And as usual, this show is going to happen in 2 parts today. So in just a few, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, you get to spend the afternoon with Zach as he builds more things. And who knows, there may be some other prizes in the chat. You never know. But just as a reminder, this show happens every Tuesday and Thursday, starting at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 Eastern. If you need codes or are an option for the giveaway, you can find those on Tuesdays at kick.com/clxgaming, on Thursdays at twitch.tv/clxgamingtv. You can also catch up with all the latest and greatest that's going on with CLX Gaming, including possibly finding codes on YouTube, TikTok, Twitter, Instagram, and Threads at CLX Gaming, and you can also jump into our Discord with questions about your builds, or even further, checking it out to see if you can find people who might also have codes, and that is discord.gg/CLX Gaming. The other place you can find codes is on my streams whenever I stream, and that's Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. I will have a code with 200 entries later on today once this show ends and we end up all coming back into the same show together. So, with that being said, best of luck. We will be announcing the winner on Tuesday's show. You don't want to miss it. So, with that said, on behalf of Kyle and Jason in production, and of course, Nicole and Ivory in chat, Paul and Zach, I'm DJ Blue PDX. Don't go away. We got more coming up in just a few. We'll be right back.
Bye everybody.
What is up, Scooby Gang? I hope everybody is having a fun and fantastic day, ready for a fun-filled weekend. I have Twitch and Kick up, so if you guys have any questions throughout the build, just shout them out into the universe, type them out on your keyboard, and I will do my very best to answer them. Today, I am playing with an RX 7800 XT. This is Azrok's Challenger card. We are going to be slapping that onto an MSI B650 Tomahawk with Wi-Fi built on. We have 360 degrees of liquid cooling capacity. And all of that is going to be powered by a 1000-watt modular power supply. We have all of those cables for said power. I've got extra box of goodies. We have with us today 32 gigabits of 5600 megahertz, so 64 gigs in total of RAM. We have a 980 Pro on this one with a terabyte under that baby. And this little Ryzen is a Ryzen 9 7900X. We're going to be chilling the entire system with 10 fans. And all of that will be going into a nice Evolve X case. It's been a while since we've had one of these up here. Boom. This is a CLX staple case. So, let's get cracking. I want that too. Okay. Gonna drop our power supply and our graphics off onto the side. Good luck at the DMV, Jeff. What was the CPU? This is an AMD Ryzen 9 7900X. Boom, boom, boom. And we are going to be putting it onto an MSI B650 Tomahawk with Wi-Fi.